In the early 90s, I made that leap from my beloved 8-bit to the 16. It was the start of a whole new look and sound. This is the story of my 16-bit days. Hey, Bastish B up for 64K and welcome to another episode of 16-bit Days. Today we're going to be checking out one Mega Drive and one Super Nintendo game, two classics. So let's not waste any more time and jump over to my first choice. Castlevania Bloodlines, as it's known in the US, or Vampire Killers in Japan, or the New Generation in PAL regions, hit the Mega Drive in March of 1994, courtesy of Konami, the last big game in their excellent exclusive Mega Drive versions of franchise games that also included Harpestone Heist and Contra Hardcore.
Introducing Castlevania Bloodlines for Sega Genesis, the most horrifying vampire hunt ever. 2 new heroes, plus hordes of evil enemies and ghastly ghouls. It's intense adventure from Konami.
This was the first Castlevania game developed on a Sega system, and the team wisely decided to tailor-make this entry to the Mega Drive strengths, which results in a much faster action-orientated entry in the series. The story has a female vampire who gets resurrected by an ancient witch. Once she's back, she goes about trying to resurrect her long-dead uncle, Dracula. Two distant descendants of the Belmont vampire hunting clan, John and Eric, set out to stop her, each having their own specific default weapon, such as a whip and a spear to master. And depending on the characters used, there are alternate ways through certain levels that add some extra replayability to the mix. Not only are their main weapons used for action, but you also use it to traverse certain sections of the levels, such as swinging with the whip and vaulting up to higher areas with the spear, hence taking your character in new directions. The game's setting is Europe and is spread across 6 countries with multiple levels in each, including sub-bosses and obviously main bosses to defeat. You'll travel through Romania, Greece, Italy, Germany, France, and finally England. You'll have the ability to upgrade your main weapon multiple times and add 3 special weapons, such as an axe, boomerang, and holy water. It's a game graphically that just does not let up. Just when you think you've seen the most impressive trick it has to offer in terms of bosses or environments, it outdoes itself in the next level. You can tell the team at Konami knew their way around the system and were exploiting all types of loopholes to bring the grand scale of this game to life. The music score as well by Michiru Yamane, her first Castlevania game she worked on, is brilliant. It's a mixture of classical music and rock overtones. It's simply excellent from start to finish. She later went on to do Symphony of the Night soundtrack on the PS1, which is one of the all-time video game greats in my opinion. If you want to play this game on real hardware, just make sure you get a Genesis or a Japanese version. They are uncensored. The PAL release New Generation has missing blood and various other changes, besides having the worst name of the 3. Overall, it's a great game in the series that usually gets overlooked. Just don't make that mistake. Okay, so now that we're done with that gem, we're going to go over to Todd The Toploader, my friend from Australia, and he's going to tell you about one of his favorite Super Nintendo games.
Hello, my name is Todd The Toploader, and today I'm going to be talking about Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Why did I delay my response there? Because, well, I had to think about if it's a game that I should really be playing. What does that mean? Well, I suffer from anxiety and OCD. And this game really maybe should not be played by people with anxiety or OCD because this game demands perfection. Now normally I don't play medieval type of games. I never did, right? I do like them now, but I never did back when I was 11 years old when I had my Super Nintendo. But at a video shop, it only had a few select games for the Super Nintendo because they were expensive to get, and they didn't have that many. One of the games that was sitting on the shelf for me to rent was Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It drives me insane, that game. I love it so much. I love it to pieces, little bits and pieces, because every single part of this game you have to know, inside and out. Every enemy comes out at the exact same point in time of the level that you play at each time you go through. That's the OCD part that I love about it, and hate about it at the exact same time. Yes, it can be so punishing, so grueling, but satisfying. It demands you know the levels. It demands you know where the enemies are coming out. It demands you know so much. It demands you be really good. Pinpoint accuracy with this game. You need pinpoint accuracy. Is it the hardest game in the series? Probably not. It's harder than the Mega Drive Ghouls and Ghosts version, the arcade version. Is it harder than Ghosts and Goblins on the NES? I don't think it is. I think that's a harder game, to be honest. But this is a good balance of easy and hard. This game is hard. Very, very hard. Pinpoint accuracy hard. This game is just like the map itself. It's like a mountain, man. You gotta go up that mountain. You gotta climb every inch of the way to get up there, to beat the boss. You're crawling up this mountain because it's such a steep climb. The difficulty curve is from day dot. The first level is hard. It's one of the hardest levels in the game. The first level is probably one of the hardest levels in the game. They actually start to get kind of shorter as you go on. As you get up the mountain, the levels get a little bit shorter, and a little bit easier, I find. I found, once I got past that first level, the rest of the game just flowed. The second level is my favorite level in the game, with the water, the ocean. You start off on this like ghost ship, and you go deep diving into the ocean. You go up and down, up and down. You get different suits, which is key as well. You start off with your normal grey suit, then you go up to the green suit, then the yellow suit. Just like Super Star Wars, if you get the right weapon, you can get it shooting out and aiming at the enemies on screen like a homing missile, if you can keep the suit. You gotta give it a second shot. You gotta give it a second shot. I gave it a second shot, and I'm glad I did, because it is the most satisfying game I've ever played. Still to this day. I don't regret it. I regret renting it, but at the same time, it's all part of the story that I'm telling right now. So it does have some worth. I know why I didn't buy it then, but I know why I'm buying it now. I have multiple copies. I love it so much, but it's going to stay with me forever to give it more than just one go, because it definitely needs a second shot. Anybody else who's only given it a shot, one shot, really does need to give it a second shot. Just like the game itself. To get the most out of it, you need to do it twice at the very least, because the first one's so hard. Once you get used to that, it's well worth the satisfaction that you get by finishing the big ass boss that you're fighting right at the end with a useless bracelet that you're given that doesn't matter, because it's still satisfying either way when you do finally beat the game. It's a great game to play, and please, please at the very least, try it one more time if you've only given it the first shot. Bye bye for now. It's me, Toploader, signing off.
And that's it for another episode of 16-Bit Days. I just want to say thanks to Todd again for joining us and showing us another awesome game. And I hope you'll check out both of these. They are real classics. Thanks for joining me, Bastish B, at 64K. I hope you had a good time. And if you could please like and subscribe, that'll be greatly appreciated. I'll see you next time. Cheers.